Welcome to Lead Desk, my name's Rob Edwards, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the engine which drives all outbound calling. We're going to be talking about your projects. One of the great things about projects in Lead Desk is it is extremely flexible in how you set it up. And as a result, there are a lot of options we could talk about in today's video, but I'm going to concentrate on the big ticket items today. If you want to read about the nitty-gritty, there are a lot of support articles available about projects to help guide you through your choices for every step of the way. Today I'm going to concentrate on adding agents, products, and call results to your projects and determining what call methods are going to be available to your agents. We will have a quick look at some of the other options as well, but that's going to be our primary focus. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get straight to it. In the interface, to go to your projects, go to the projects page, and to create a new project, click on the Create button. Now, depending on your setup, you may not see this question. This question's only here because I have both Outbound and Omni available on this environment. If you only have Outbound, it will go straight to creating a call center project. If it is only Omni that you have on your environment, it will take you straight to creating a customer service project. We're talking Outbound today, so that is what we're going to create. We need to give it a name. If we're using offices in our environment, we need to select which office is associated with this project, if any. And it's a good idea to give it a description. In my environment here, sponsor is also mandatory. But if you never defined any sponsors for your environment, sponsor won't be mandatory for you, so don't worry about that. Let me fill that in. Scrolling down to the next section, we get to choose which agents, contact lists, and products are associated with this project. On the left-hand side here, we have our list of agents. You'll notice that some of these agents already have associated projects and some do not. If we want to add the agent we created during the agents video to this project, we can select them by ticking the box next to Rob Demo there. And that will give this project as the default project for that agent. We can also add other agents. For example, if I wanted to add Rob OB to here, but doing so would actually make that the default project for him as well. And I want to show you another way later on about how we can add agents access rights to get to this project. So we'll skip Rob OB for the moment and we'll come back and add him when we're talking about access rights shortly. Over here on the right hand side, we get to choose which contact lists we're going to use, and the one that I set up in the contact list video was onboarding contact list, so that's the one I'm going to choose. Again, I can select multiple, and if I really want to get into it, I can even enable waiting and choose which contact lists numbers are primarily drawn from and which contact lists are less priority. But we're not going to get into that today. If I have got products already defined on my environment that I want to add to this project, I can. Let us say that we're going to add the sponsored product to this project, and there we go. That is added there and available to our agents. The next section I want to briefly mention is the call results section. This is a hugely important part of your outbound solution. It's what drives things like recording deals that have been made. And we can create call results for both all projects using global call ending reasons or ones which are specific to this project. But this is such an important topic, I'm actually going to do a separate video on this. So have a check of that one if you want to see more about call results. For today, I'm just going to move straight on. The next section I want to look at is calling methods. And this is essentially determining how the agents are going to be placing calls. There are several different variations on the call types. The most simple decision is, do we want to do automatic calling or do we want to do manual calling? You can have both, as I've got both of them ticked here. If you only want agents to be able to create manual calls, then just keep manual ticked. But normally in most outbound environments, we're going to want to automate the calling process. And in that, we have two options, progressive and preview. In the progressive mode, once an agent finishes a call, it will immediately progress to the next one and start dialing that call for them. If we select preview mode, when the agent finishes a call, they will be shown the contact details of the next person they are due to call, but they have to take the responsibility to press the call button themselves. This is really useful if you want the agents to be able to review contact information before going into the next call. This gives them a chance to read things like contact comment, any additional information you might have added in for the contact as well. Or you can allow the agent to choose whether they're going to work in progressive mode or preview mode. There are two other dialing modes available at the bottom of these calling methods: the contact list dial and the external phone. Contact list dial very simply allows the agent to go into the contact list for this project and select a contact to call. External phone, it's a bit different, but it's quite useful potentially. If you want agents to be able to work on behalf of a particular contact, but don't actually necessarily need them to be calling that contact, we can use the simulated call option. So those are the core settings that I wanted to talk about for creating outbound projects. But as you can see, we have several sections beyond that listed underneath, and I am going to very quickly talk about a few of these as well. This is not going to show you everything in these options, but I just want to pick and choose a couple of the more interesting or cool ones that I think are worth knowing about. And the first thing to do is to have a quick look at contact settings. The contact settings, I'm not going to get into this hugely, but just to point out that the default contact settings has all contact fields available with no validation on them. If you want to say, look, the other info field is specifically going to be a number because it is a membership number, that will restrict whatever the agent can type into that box to be just numbers. And if that is what you're using the other info 1 field for, maybe you wanted to say that. So we can click on other info 1 and change it to membership number. And now when other info 1 would show in the agent interface, it will actually show as membership number as long as they are working on this particular project. The next block of settings are the optional settings, and I'm not going to cover most of the ones in here. Take some time and read these options and make what you make of them. But I do want to point out that if you want to be able to include a particular web page within the interface for the agent to be able to refer to when they're on a call, you can add those as project web addresses. So if you have a knowledge base that you want them to be able to use, if you have a product page that you want them to be able to refer to, all of these pages can be added onto project by adding those project web addresses. If we scroll down, we can see we have the option of adding a variety of mini reports to this project. So these are reports which will appear on the agent's interface and let them know things like how many calls have they made today, and adding it into the agent's call view mini report will show that while the agent is on a call. The callback settings let us control things about our callbacks and which types of callbacks can be created. You can limit agents to only be able to create private callbacks or only create public callbacks as you see fit. I'm going to skip the predicted dialer and inbound settings and go straight to the recording settings. Again, tick boxes for the most part here. When we start a call, do we want to start with recording paused? Do we want agents to be able to listen to other agents' recordings? And do we want to enable the ability to record multiple voice receipts? Once you've set all the settings you want to, click the Create button, and that project now exists. We can see it there, my onboarding project with the description and the contact list. And at the moment, just one agent attached to it, and that was Rob Demo that we created. But I do want to add Rob OB as another agent who can work on this project, so I need to grant them access rights to this project. And we do that in the users page and the access rights subpage. So here we can see a list of our projects, and across the top we can see a list of our agents. If we want Rob OB to be able to make calls using the onboarding project, we have to tick the box for that. So Rob OB will now have the access rights to the onboarding project. And there we go, a lightning tour of projects. There is an awful lot more that we could talk about there, but I think that should give you a grounding on how these work. To sum up, we talked about how to create a project, how to assign agents to it, including access rights, as we've just seen. We talked about how to choose which contact lists are available for our project, what calling methods agents will use, and we had a look at some of the other optional settings that are available for your projects. Thanks for watching.